a goodwill point of view from the company standpoint anyways, it would just be a PR nightmare because it would only take 2 or 3 situations where, old man farmer has a heart attack and can't get 911 access because his landline was cut off.
It's going to happen eventually, right? Like it will happen.
There's got to be,
like people don't travel by train by choice,
right? Yeah.
Like it's still there. But is it a prevalent form of or transportation? No. Same thing with landlines, right? And there's a big resistance.
Greyhound buses still run, so I mean,
Amtrak's still around.
One of the big squawks about this is, I got to pay more for my service now. Like my landline versus what I'm going to have to spend to have a cell phone. I'm going to have to shell out a lot more money, and that's why I don't want to do it. I don't have the money to support that.
But see, that's what's interesting is like, our buddy Chris Martello, he has a cottage in northeastern Michigan, and they don't have phone service out there. They don't have high-speed internet. They've asked to get high-speed internet, but the companies will refuse to go out there
because it's so desolate.
It's so expensive for the company to go out there.
Yeah, you can get satellite broadband.
It's not cabins in middle of nowhere, Michigan. My in-laws' house in K-Pac, they can't get cable.
That's the middle of nowhere.
K-Pac is middle of nowhere.
Oh, that is absolutely middle of nowhere.
Yeah, right. But you just proved my point. Yeah. So that scenario, I don't see it happening anytime soon. I really don't. There's got to be some sort of.
Well, they said 2017. So I mean, they've got 4 years to figure it out.
Yeah,
but
just like the healthcare thing.
Right. Well, like I said, it'll
just go there.
I did.
Well, like I said, it'll turn into
low-hanging fruit, Bob.
Right. Yeah, it's yet another thing that'll turn into a debacle because of rural areas, single carrier, yada yada.
That's the one thing I hate more than anything is the people that whine. They go, Japan has more broadband and it costs less. And but
how'd that earthquake work
out? It's the size of. Like it's half of California. It's like you don't understand pucks. Norway has more broadband views, but it's like they're the size of New Hampshire.
They're half the size of Michigan.
Right? It's like
Upper Peninsula.
It's, how hard it is to blanket coverage. 300 million. It's not easy.
Well, look at all the issues they have with Ford Field. So you've got one
the big house in Ann Arbor. When was the last time you tried to update your Facebook status?
Right.
At
with 110,000 people floating around.
It's a pain in the ass to get Wi-Fi in this building.
Right. And nobody's using it.
And nobody's here except us.
I tried to actually use Twitter for like the first time in my life in Ford Field because I forget if you win some crap or you get a stupid picture on the billboard. So I'm like,
right.
It did not go through to save.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, we were sitting there
pushing the button.
He was. He captain the elevator over there. Push the button and nothing happens. So push the button again until nothing keeps happening. Yeah, over and over again.
Harder.
It's like looking at the picture of the sailboat. Oh, it's a sailboat.
It's a sailboat. It just gets angrier and angrier and angrier. Actually, speaking of Twitter, though, I mean one of the things that was kind of that caught my eye is there's a guy who took some of the photos in Haiti right after the earthquake hit, and I guess he posted them out on Twitter and was like,
"Did it trend worldwide, man?"
It really did. So, but what's weird is
Haiti.
So Getty Images got sued because they took his photos and basically started reselling them out to the major news networks and everything else. And and what was funny is they actually screwed themselves, and this might sound a little familiar to you, because they tried to basically go after him first to say that, hey, we want to prove a point that we're not infringing on your copyright, so we're going to come after you.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah, so
who does things like that?
I know.
Yeah, I don't know what any local companies do.
Right. And so he said, okay, well, not only am I going to bow down, I'm going to file all these countersuits, and he literally just won $1.3 million from Getty Images for all their unauthorized use, and basically their defense boiled down to, well, but it was retweeted, and we didn't know it wasn't for public common domain, but it was kind of an interesting question where, okay, so how much research and homework do you have to do?
This sounds familiar. Remember the whole Detroit cityscape skyline for the cop cars?
Yeah.
The was that a Canadian photographer that took a picture of the Detroit skyline?
Yep.
And didn't get any.
But if you take
and as it turned out, they used his photo in the mock-ups that they were doing, like in the press kits, but the ones that actually made it onto the cop cars, no, that was a local Detroit
Detroit. It's so dumb if you take a picture of a skyline and you own it. To me, that it doesn't. I don't know.
It's intellectual property. I mean, it's totally a great line. I totally see what you're saying, but yeah, it's one of those things where you own the photo.
37 billion photos of the Detroit skyline.
Yep.
That's the one I took. Idiot. Everyone's an idiot.
But what he did, but I mean, if you look at that though, like that one, by and large, I totally agree with you. But like that one where he had done like a lot of enhancements to it, it was pretty obvious that was the photo that he had used or that he had taken and that he had went ahead and touched up.
So you could take a picture of everything, every square inch of the whole entire planet, and if anybody uses anything, you go, no, it's mine.
Yeah.
Well, Bob, you do have a
Google Street
SLR
View
camera now.
Google Street View now owns everything.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Speaking of Google Street View, did you hear the story about the guy, unfortunately, that lost his son?
Killed.
Yeah, that lost his son, and Google Street View took a picture, a satellite picture, and that one particular picture had a picture of his son lying dead on the sidewalk.
What?
Seriously, like you know how the Google Street View is like, what, 3 or 4 years old, right? So like when you're looking at Google Maps, you're looking at, 4 years ago. Well, he lost his son in a horrific, some sort of robbery, murder gone bad. And his son was lying there dead on the sidewalk. It was still a crime scene, an active crime scene. There was cops everywhere. And it just so happened that the Google satellite was, or whatever it is that they use, took a picture of that particular scene, that particular sidewalk, wherever that was.
What's the chances of that?
1 in a zillion, whatever it was, doesn't matter. They took a picture, they published it because they're going through, they're archiving all this stuff, and they're publishing it for their Google Maps
because they don't look at it.
And it just so happens that the father of this kid that was killed was scanning through and pulled up that particular wherever it was location in California, saw his son dead 4 years ago, and
crazy.
It's like Google, what the hell? So they went through.
They ended up pulling it down.
Yeah, they pulled it down, but it was.
It's not Google's. You can't scour all those.
No, of course not. But it was one of those things where it's a freak happening. It's just unfortunate.
I remember the first time I saw his Street View and I saw like my Jeep in front of my condo, and I'm like,
right.
Big brother.
All right, well, hey, we are coming up against the end of the show, so I want to make sure we hit. So our website is DetroitNet.org, or you can find us at itandthed.com, .net.org, whatever.
.co,
.info, whatever.
.me.
We've got our Support the Troops event that's coming up on December 12th. Got our event coming up on December 12th.
Is there a .?
There should be.
Yeah, it's Morse code. That's what that is.
That's what I mean. DetroitNet.
And that's us. That's our show for this week. We geeked out a little bit more than we usually do, and
we get a .ca.
Wait, .ca, .uk, .ca, whatever.
.ca. We could be a .caca domain.
And with that thing, we're out.
Thanks again for hanging out with us. IT and the D Show.
Talk to you.
Beat it. I'm just like doing like stupid stuff to make me laugh.
I definitely want to see Bob in his underwear. That's a fact.
Or wait, what do you have in Switzerland? Some kind of pikeman?
I don't know. I am from Germany, where the age of consent is 14.
What is it, the Alabama of Europe?
In many ways, yes.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.